Hello, and welcome to the Power Platform Time Trial session at the Scottish Summit 2021. First of all, a massive shout out to ScriptRunner, Global, DQ Global, Proximo 3, Red Spire, Agilicis, and Hitachi Solutions for being our sponsors this year. I'm Marc Trotman, a solution architect at Boss Global Consulting, and I can be found on Twitter at Trotman Marc. I love a challenge, and in the picture on the right, I had just completed the London Duathlon in 2019. Fun, tough, but fun. So, we're here to talk about the Power Platform. What is the Power Platform? It's a no-code, low-code platform which allows users to create applications using Power Apps, portals using Power Apps portals, chatbots using Power Virtual Agents. It allows you to integrate with other systems using Power Automate, and you can use Power BI to analyze data and produce beautiful visualizations. So why a LMS using the Power Platform? Well, for the last 2 years, I've been volunteering at my local library. As a result, I was involved in choosing a new LMS system. And after that, I thought to myself, could the Power Platform be used to develop an LMS? So that's the whole purpose of today's session, to create Power LMS using the Power Platform, Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power Virtual Agents, 10 minutes per component to develop functionality. I've created the database design in advance. I've added data. And of course, I've have a few code tricks and comments for me to use. So let's get started. So the first part of this session will be to create a model-driven app. This will be used to capture books, information, authors, volunteers, etc. So I'm just going to bring up portal. So we're going into the make.power apps portal. I'm just going to open my solution. Okay, and let's go. So Power Apps can either be a model-driven app or a canvas app. With a model-driven app, you start from the data. As you can see here, I have all of the tables that I need for the LMS. I have the person table, authors, catalogs, etc. So let's start to build the model-driven app. Go as simple as going new app, model-driven app. The great thing about this is that it allows me to select the actual solution that I have all of my data in. When I click on next, I have the ability to choose that particular solution. Clicking on done. And as you can see, all of the tables have been brought in. I have dashboards. I have my business process flows as well. And I have the sitemap. The sitemap is actually what determines the navigation of the app. At the moment, that's not ready. So I will actually have to build that. But once that is done, I will actually have an app that is ready to be used. So let's build the sitemap. Okay, so we call this, so we can call the area Power LMS. For the group, what we will call this is interactions. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to select the entities that I want to show here. So the first entity I want to show is called person. Then I'm going to add another sub area. I want to It will be another entity. And I want to find the volunteers. When you're customizing the sitemap, it's good to actually split it out into fairly recognizable sections. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add another group. I'm going to call this the lending area. So this is where where people can go to see those loans when people are lending books or returning books. I'm going to add a sub area here again, and this one will be an entity once again, and I will select the entity that I want to show. Just going to grab, so we're 7 minutes still to go. I'm going to add another group. And this will be, I will call this catalog. So a catalog is where you will store the book information. So it's another entity. Put books here, sorry, catalog, I believe I called it. Then I'm going to add another sub area. This time I'm going to be able to show the authors. Because it's looking good. We have a top level group, we have various different sections, areas, and then we have sub areas below these. I think this is enough information for us to actually have a model driven app. Okay, so I'm going to save and close. As you can see, the sitemap is also brought in. So what I'll do now is save the app and I'll publish. How are we looking for time? 5 minutes in. And let's click on play. Voila. We have a model-driven app, which is showing us the person information, any volunteers, library transactions, catalog information, and authors. So we've been able to do that in about 5 minutes. Let's just try and add a bit more information into the app. So as you can see on the catalog, I don't really know what the book is, but I know what the catalog number is. Also, if we open the library transaction, I can see that I have a number of fields here, but I don't have when the book is loaned or when it's due to be returned, when it's loaned, etc. So let's do a very quick customization to bring in that information. So we navigate back into the actual solution. First of all, I want to go to the catalog, because as I said before, we want to see the actual name of the book or the item. It could be a book, it could be a magazine, it could be a comic, etc. It's a little slow here at the moment. And then, as I said, within the transactions area, we will add those various other fields. Taking a little while, so let's just refresh that again. See if that helps. Okay, yes, that has. So we go to views. So that particular view that's being shown is the active catalog view. And as you can see, we have a field here called catalog name. So I'm just going to drag that in. I can't see all of the information, so I'm just going to edit that property. And I'm going to just extend that to, let's go to 200. Apply that. I'm going to save that. Then what I know I have to do as well is that I want to add those 3 fields onto the transaction. So I'm going to do everything once and then publish so that we have all the changes reflected at once. Going to the forms, that is the main form that we are actually customizing. Clicking on this here, we have the ability to pick the fields that we want. So we're going to drag in the loan date, the loan due date, and the loan return date. I think that's good enough. We're going to save going to go back out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to publish this particular entity, or table as it's now called. And then I'm going to publish the catalog as well. To 2 minutes. And let's refresh. So going into the transactions, we can now see we have the loan date, due date, and return date. And in the catalog, we have the name. So there you go. Model-driven app as a front end or for a library management system. And that was all done within 8 minutes. Okay. Just going back to the presentation. So the next part of the presentation will be to create a Canvas app. So a Canvas app allows you to have a blank canvas, and you're able to actually design how you want the app to look like. In the previous model-driven app, the structure was actually kind of determined for you. So here, we are going to be able to design the app in the manner that we want. This is going to be a 2-screen app, one which would be where the person will be able to log on. Well, when they launch it, they'll be able to have an option to say, I want to loan a book or I'm returning a book. And it's great because for Canvas app, this is a perfect way of use of a Canvas app, because it allows a very quick and easy interface for people to use. Okay, so let's go back into, so that's the model-driven app. I'm going to close the screen, and I'm going to just get myself ready. Let's get the timer again. We've reset it. Okay, so yeah, 10 minutes. Okay, and let's go. So to create a Canvas app, you follow the same menu driven. I'm going to create this in a tablet form. So as that gets ready, so the main aim, what I'm going to have is on the first screen, I'm going to have 2 buttons. One would be loan and one would be return, or check in and check out. Then on my second screen, I'm going to have just the information that is needed to either loan a book or check that book back in. So what I'm going to do here is call this, just make this a bit more noticeable. I'm going to actually create the other screen at the same time. I believe what I've called this screen here, I'm just going to check my notes just to make sure. Yes, I have it as, yeah, screens transaction. Just want to get that right. As I said, I've kind of have a few things already set up. So we've got these two screens. So one of the tricks about with a Canvas app is that you can actually add some nice little customization. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to icons. I'm going to find the rectangle. I think I may have put. Okay, let's go here. What you're doing, and this is a very nice way of actually creating a nice background to your app. So what you go to, if you go to fill and you actually change the transparency, what you get is a nice little veneer on your screen. Okay, what I've done as well is that I already have an actual image that I want to use. It's a picture of a library. And then I'm just going to bring that into the app. And as you can see, that's looking really nice there. Okay, so on the next thing I want to do is I'm going to create those buttons. Just put it here. Great thing about Power Apps as well is that you can do copy and paste in the Canvas app. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just rename these. So one will be loan. One will be return. And I'm using the same, as you see, I'm using the same actual screen to do both loans and returns. I'm going to just build on the navigation now. So I want to navigate to the transaction screen. I'm going to use a transition of cover. And what I'm doing here as well is I want to pass the action to say what I'm actually doing. So for loan, it will be loan. Okay. And this is this exact same functionality I will do for the return, but the action will be different. It will be a return action. Okay. So far, that's looking good. Let's have a check. It moves backwards, etc. But we don't have anything to move back. Okay, let's just check the time. 6 minutes. Okay. So on the transaction form, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have 3 text fields. Again, I'm going to make use of the ability to copy and paste. What I will do as well is that I'm going to add an icon, home icon, because just now when I was on this screen, I wasn't able to go back. So what I'm going to do is put in another navigate option, and I want to go back to the home page, and I want to just do that transition. When I come to this page as well, so what I'm going to do here as well is just name these various fields. Again, I have these fields already named, so I'm going to call that text catalog item. Call that, so this will be the member. And I will call that the volunteer. Okay. Okay. Going to clear out this information here. Clear out this information. Then I'm going to add some labels as well, so we know what we're talking about. Okay, so this one is a catalog, so we call that catalog. This one is the member, so we can call this a library member. And here as well is the volunteer number. Then I'm going to have another button which will do the processing. Okay. See what time we've got. We've got 3 minutes to go. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is that I want these fields only to, this button to be only enabled. Okay. If certain fields are filled in. So on the display mode, I will do this. Okay. Also, what I want to do as well is that I want to drive what the label on the actual button is. Okay. So we just go here to text. So I'm setting this up, and then I think that's more or less it at the moment. Okay. Okay, so just let's go back to the main page. When we click on here, we have a loan. Loan is shown. We can go back. Return is shown. Okay, so we're looking good at the moment. That's how much time we have left. 2 minutes to go. Okay, so that's fine. So we've got more or less the functionality there. but we just have to put in what happens when you actually click on the return button. But what I'll do here as well is I'll do exactly what I did the last time. Okay, so I will go back to icons. I'll go get the rectangle. I will do that again. Don't worry, it's hidden, but we can actually just move that to the back. The transparency again to 2. What we can do is reorder the and send this to the back. And then what we can do here again on the actual screen is that we can add that image as well. So again, we have a nice looking veneer for this. Okay, as you can see, this is white and blue at the moment, which isn't very nicely visible on that. And then what we can do here is that what I need here as well is I want the color to come through a little bit better. So to set the color, what I can do is I can set that to the color of the actual icon. I can do that for all the other images here as well. Okay, all right. Okay, so okay, then we just have to make sure that we call that the volunteer number. Okay. All right, so we've got 24 seconds, and all I will do now is just put into the code to create that record. We're just a little bit over time, but we had some time left over from the last section. So on the select, in here, what I'm using is the patch function, okay? And also what I will need to do is I will also need to add the data, because I'm actually using certain entities here. So I'm using the catalog. I'm using the library transactions. And I'm also using, yeah, so I think that's about it, person as well. So yes, so I have all of those things here. So let's try it out. So I know we're running a little bit over time, but just want to go back here. So let's click on loan. From the catalog, I have a catalog number here. Library member, I have someone in the database with number 1, and I have volunteer with 1. As you can see, it automatically is loan is enabled. Clicking on that, I have the loan has been completed. So let's just go into the library transactions area, and there you go. We have a loan information inside. So a little bit over time, but we now have a model-driven app. We now have a Canvas app. So we are moving fairly full-fledged into designing this LMS system. Okay. So the next part of the scenario is the Power Virtual Agents. So it's a chatbot. So what we're going to do is that we're going to have a chatbot to just answer questions about the library's opening hours. And then we're going to also allow the chatbot to actually help a person register to join the library. Okay, so I've already brought up the virtual agent. So what I've done is I've actually created a bot. So the way to do that is within here, within your chatbots area, you go create. But that takes a bit of time, and I didn't want that to be part of my demo. So let's go. Okay, so we're going to start this 10 seconds, 10 minutes again, and we're off. Okay, so when you create a chatbot, it comes out of the box with certain functionalities. We already have a greeting. And within the greeting, it all picks up words like hello, how are you, etc. Okay, but then we also have so what we will do now is we create a topic, and this will be opening hours. What we need is a trigger phrase. So we go, when is the library opened? Open. When is the library closed? Opening hours. What are the opening hours? And I'll just add one more. Is the library opened on weekends? Okay. So this is the topic. So we save that first. And then we kind of need to build the functionality to say what happens when that phrase is actually triggered. And to do that, you go into the actual canvas. And when you're triggered, all we would say here is the library is opened Monday to Friday between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. and on Saturday between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. Okay, this is very, very basic and a very, very simple functionality that can be built very, very quickly by using Virtual Agent. So let's test this out. So I'll say hi. And so it says, I'm your friendly library chatbot. Can you help me with the opening times? And I can say what opening hours, because I believe that was one of the things that we're saying. And as you can see, it was triggered already. It says, okay, the library is open Monday to Friday. Okay, so that is already working. So we already have a bot that can answer basic questions like that. Okay, so let's reset the bot. We can close this. I want to go back to the topics again. And even in the opening hours, what we can actually do here is that we can actually ask another question and say, do you want more information about this? What we have here is a 2 option set here. And what we can say is more information. Okay. And then what we do is we add a condition. So if more information is equal to true, what we can do here is that we can actually just direct them to the website. More information can be found on our website. The great thing about this as well is you can actually just include the link. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just send this to the BBC. Okay. And after every interaction, it's always best to end the conversation. And if they said, so if it is no, they don't want information, more information, you can also, again, just end the conversation again. So let's save that. Okay, so just want to see how much time. So that's 5 minutes in. And we already have a lovely working bot as well as chatbot. So opening hours. It should trigger and say, the library is open for one. Do you want more information? Yes. And there you go. More information can be found on our website. If I click on that, it will open the BBC website. Did that answer your question? Yes. And I'm directed to a survey. Okay. So the next part of it was to actually help people who want to join the library. Okay. So I'm going to actually do another topic. Join the library. Okay. And the trigger phrase would be, how do I join the library? Or what about, how do I register? Let's save the topic. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do here is we're not going to ask a message at the moment. What we're going to do is ask a question. Actually, no, what we'll do is show a message first. Say, you can register online on our website. Or come in to the library. Obviously, at this time, this is not possible. Okay, but then we can also give them another option. We can, a question that says, do you want me to register? Okay, just checking the time, 2 minutes. So right here, we will have a Boolean again. Register. Okay, if you have a condition, so if the person, sorry, let's say, is equal to yes, do you want me to register you? What we are going to do is we're going to call a flow from there. And if they say no, they don't want to register you, all we will do is end the conversation. Okay, so let's test the bot quickly. Join the library. Do you want to register on our, you can register on our website or come into library? Yes. And then we have this issue here because obviously we haven't actually hooked that in. And that will come up for the next part when we're trying to do the flow. So there you go. We've got a model-driven app, as I said before. We've got our Canvas app. We've got our chatbot already, where we can actually learn about when the library is opened, and we're also able to register. So now let's move on to flows, our Power Automate. So for the Power Automate flow, as I said, we're going to call the flow from the virtual agent. And what that will do is that will create a library member inside of our model-driven app or inside of our database. And then what we're going to do is also do another flow that says that if the book or item is renewed, then the due date should be 2 weeks after that. Okay, so let's go back. Let's get our timer going again. I think, and let's go. Okay, so as part of the Power Virtual Agent just now, what we did is we said, do you want to register? And you said, if it was yes, what we're going to do here is that we can call an action. Okay. And an action, on one of the call actions that we can call is actually create a flow. Okay. Call this the power because remember, everything is around Power LMS registration. Okay, so what we need to do is when we pass the information from the bot into the actual flow, the information that we want to pass is the person's first name, because what we're going to do is we're going to register this person directly into our model-driven app. Last name. And what we also going to get them to give us is their email address. Okay, then after that, what we're going to do is that we're actually going to use the Common Data Service connector to actually create a row in Dynamics. In the Power Platform. Okay, so this will go into our table, which is persons. Oops. Okay. Then what we're going to do is the last name will be the last name field. The email will be email. And the first name will be the first name. So all the parameters that are being filled in are being passed from the bot will be used to create that information back into Dynamics. So just let's save that. Let's see how much time we have. That's only 7 minutes in. 7 minutes in. Okay, and I'm just going to make this a little bit, so I'm going to create a new library. Okay. Okay. All right. So what we can do now, we can get out of this. Can actually close the flow again. Okay. So now, when I call the action, that flow is now actually available for us. Okay. So what I'm going to have to do here now is, do you want me to register you? Yes. Actually, what I will have to do is I'll take this out first, and then I will ask a question. I need to ask 3 questions. What is your first name? The great thing about, we have some built-in entities here already. So what I will use is name, or person name. Call that first name. I'll ask another question. What is your last name? Yet again, I will use that option. As you can see, I've done it before, so that's why those variables are coming up. And then the next one again will be, what is your email is? Yes. And we have a built-in email address here. I can just call that email. Okay, we save that. Just do a little quick check of our timing, see how we're doing. So we're 5 minutes in. Okay, so now let's test this out and see what happens. So let's go opening hours again. Actually, I don't want to do opening hours, do I? What I'm going to do is I'll reset. And what I want to do is actually join the library. Do you want me to register you? Yes, I do. So we're just following it through. It asks me what's my first name. I will say Jack. What's your last name? Johnson. And then it should ask me what's my email address. So I'll just go jack@test.com. Okay, so that's fine. So that we know that's all working. So what I need to do as well now is to actually call the actual flow. So this will be first name, this will be last name, and then this will be email. Okay, so let's try it again. Join. Want me to register? Yes. Jack. It gets faster as you use it more. Johnson. Jack@test.com. So when it gets here, then it will trigger the flow. Okay, so let's just see how much time we got. Okay, that's fine. So let's just go into Power Automate. Okay. We can see that it's run 17 seconds ago. To view the information about the flow, you can just click on that particular link and you can see it's coming here and it's actually said it's created a library member. So to find out if that's the case, we can actually navigate back to the persons. And there you go. We have Jack Johnson with the first name, last name, and email address. So the beauty of a Power Virtual Agents chatbot calling a Power Automate flow to create a record in a model-driven app. And that is the functionality, most of the functionality that we would need. I have a minute left, and there was one more flow that I was going to try and do, but I think I'm just going to leave it there with some things to spare. So let's just have a recap of what's been done. We've created a model-driven app, which is based on the data, which was found within a solution. So a model-driven app, best use of a model-driven app is based when you have that data up front. We created a canvas app. Why we use it this way? Because there's another functionality that I would have wanted to use, and that would be a barcode scanner, because the person at the library would actually have a library card and a volunteer would actually have a volunteer card. So they're able to scan those numbers and automatically populate. But using the web, you can't use a barcode scanner. But as you can see, that would be the perfect example of a canvas app. It just fits the purpose. You can't really scan into a model-driven app, but you can scan into a canvas app. And it's a very, very lovely, quick interface for people to really use. Following on from that, we were able to create a chatbot, which did two things, was able to tell people about the opening hours and how to join the library. And then within the join the library topic, what we were able to do is actually call a Power Automate flow to create a contact inside of the model-driven app. So it's actually taking off all the things that a library needs just by using the Power Platform. So did I pass this time trial? I think you can say I did. Power LMS has been created. We've used all of the components that we wanted to use: Power Apps, Power Virtual Agents, Power Automate, and we all did it 10 minutes, within 10 minutes to create those particular functionality. I think that's a perfect example of the Power Platform, low code, no code, being able to create an LMS system. I hope you enjoyed that session. Please remember to tweet hashtag Scottish Summit 2021. And I hope you enjoy all the rest of the sessions. Thanks for joining my session. Bye for now.